Thank you for joining me on the path to authenticity, love, and spiritual awakening. This is a soul-guided journey, originally written by Philip Kopp, based on the exploration of possibilities, and narrated to help us find our hearts, our healing, and the truth. I hope you will find guidance in these words and the light in your soul. Let us begin. Chapter 5. The Neurochemistry of the Soul. Science and spirituality often seem like two opposing worlds, but when we examine the human nervous system and hormonal responses through the lens of soul psychology, a remarkable alignment appears. Our biochemical design is not in conflict with spiritual growth, it is the vehicle for it. In this section, we explore how the body's chemical responses mirror and support the spiritual journey. The autonomic nervous system acts as the interface through which our soul interacts with physical life. It regulates our responses to safety, threat, connection, and emotion. These states correspond directly to the soul journey stages we've explored: exile, protector, and authentic self. To begin, let's see how the nervous system states, neurochemicals, and the soul journey stages correlate. We can map hormones and nervous system states to corresponding levels of the soul journey, showing that they are the chemical manifestation of spiritual messengers. Each major chemical in the body serves not only a physiological role, but also holds symbolic meaning in the soul's journey. The different realms of lower exiles and protectors and upper authenticity each correspond with different hormonal releases in the physical body. Likewise, activated protectors, such as when we become controlling, addicted, or excessively busy, generate dominant chemicals such as adrenaline and dopamine. These drive escapism, overfunctioning, and control behaviors. When we enter the freeze or collapse state, the dorsal vagal branch of the nervous system becomes dominant. This state is associated with shutdown and disconnection and is an exaggerated state of protection. Emotionally, it is characterized by shame, numbness, and despair. Biochemically, there is a decrease in dopamine and an increase in endogenous opioids, which dull sensation and emotion. Spiritually, this state represents the exile, the part of the soul that holds trauma and disconnection. When an exile is directly activated, such as when a deep emotional wound is triggered, the dominant chemicals are cortisol and norepinephrine. These function as alarm bells of old trauma and indicate a call for protection and healing and can signal protector behaviors to come into effect. When we are emotionally triggered, in danger or fearful, we enter the state commonly referred to as fight or flight. The sympathetic nervous system is activated. This state produces emotional responses such as fear, anger, and panic. The dominant hormones released in this state are cortisol and adrenaline. From a soul psychology perspective, this corresponds to the protector layer of the soul, which attempts to manage perceived threats. And when we experience grief and inner alchemy, prolactin and endorphin regulation come into play, allowing for somatic release and soul purification. In contrast, positive states, such as when we are in a state of social engagement, the ventral vagal branch of the parasympathetic nervous system is active. This is the state of trust, joy, and love. The dominant chemicals here include oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. In terms of the soul journey, this is where the self is accessed. When we are in a state of joyful creation and spiritual expression, also known as flow state, we are often living out our soul purpose. The body physical releases dopamine and endorphins, encouraging us to seek out and explore experiences leading to flow. Beyond this is the upper realm of inner peace, connection, healing, and authentic presence. The primary chemicals involved are oxytocin, serotonin, and anandamide, reflecting unity, trust, bonding, bliss, and sacred connection. This happens when people share deep vulnerability and intimacy with each other, or even during psychedelic experiences. Our soul speaks through emotions, and emotions are shaped by hormonal shifts. When we listen to our body's signals, such as a racing heart, a flush of heat, or tears of release, we are, in fact, hearing the soul. These physical sensations are expressions of the soul crying out, protecting itself, or integrating new truths. Are spiritual experiences biochemically real? Modern neuroscience has confirmed that transcendent states, such as those reported in near-death experiences, deep meditation, or spontaneous mystical insight, have clear neurochemical and brainwave signatures. During experiences of mystical oneness, the body produces serotonin and anandamide, the latter also being associated with love, meditation, and the effects of psychedelics. In this state, ego boundaries dissolve. When we feel compassion and love, oxytocin levels increase and vagal tone rises. The body shifts into a mode of connection and relational safety. During IFS healing or moments of spiritual awakening, the parasympathetic nervous system is activated. Cortisol decreases, and heart rate variability, or HRV, increases. These changes indicate that self-energy is becoming embodied. Spirituality, therefore, does not contradict science, it flows through it. While biochemical states may reflect our spiritual condition, they do not explain it away. Instead, they offer a language and a map by which we can trace the soul's evolution through the body. As one reflection puts it, perhaps spirit lives in the pattern, not the particle. If love produces a universal neurochemical harmony, isn't that a kind of scientific proof of the divine? Biochemistry may actually be a two-way portal. The relationship between body chemistry and spiritual experience is not one-directional. It is a feedback loop. Our experiences and choices can shape our chemistry, and our chemistry can reinforce those same patterns. Heart rate variability, or HRV, has emerged as a powerful biomarker of spiritual alignment. High HRV is linked to emotional regulation, parasympathetic dominance, and resilience, all qualities associated with a self-led individual. As protectors soften and exiles are healed, HRV tends to increase. HRV can be measured with wearable technology such as the Oura Ring, Whoop Band, or heart-focused biofeedback tools. These devices track the variation between heartbeats, and a higher variability suggests a more adaptable and regulated nervous system. Protector states can become reinforced through chronic sympathetic arousal. Activities that contribute to this pattern include overworking and constant multitasking, compulsive phone checking or digital overload, engaging in high-risk behaviors like extreme sports to feed adrenaline, promiscuous sex without emotional connection, and the use of escapist entertainment or substances. While some adrenaline-producing activities, such as sports or dancing, can be cathartic and even healthy, their ultimate effect depends on the intention behind them, the ability to integrate the experience, and the level of regulation present. For example, dancing in a joyful, embodied community context can increase HRV and oxytocin. However, dancing pursued compulsively or as a means of avoidance can reinforce protector loops. On the other hand, practices that restore a sense of safety and promote connection can encourage the presence of authentic self-energy. These practices include deep meditation, chanting, and breathwork, journaling and emotional processing, immersion in nature and grounding practices, and compassionate connection, especially through safe physical touch, emotional intimacy, and deep conversations with trusted loved ones. Romantic partners, close friendships, or therapeutic relationships can all stimulate the release of oxytocin and strengthen ventral vagal tone. In this light, healing is not only spiritual, it is also somatic. We are not just healing our inner stories, we are rewiring our nervous systems. Through intention, attention, and consistent practice, we can shift our chemical baseline and support the soul's movement toward wholeness. How does neurochemistry bring the soul journey diagram to life? We now revisit the soul journey diagram and overlay it with the layers of chemistry and nervous system function. We will find that the various states previously described closely map the three main states depicted by the diagram. At the core of the diagram, is the authentic self, or core self. This state is marked by the presence of hormones such as oxytocin and serotonin. The nervous system activity here reflects ventral vagal tone. The experience in this state is one of peace, attunement, and a sense of wholeness, a state reached in deep romantic connection, meditation, or bliss. Surrounding the self are the protectors, often called managers or firefighters in IFS terminology. These states are marked by adrenaline and dopamine. The nervous system is in a state of sympathetic activation. Emotionally, the individual may feel the need to control, a sense of urgency, or the need to become distracted or numb. These are coping mechanisms used to cover up deeper wounds and exiles. At the outermost layer are the exiles, wounded parts of the self. They are associated with cortisol, norepinephrine, and low levels of dopamine. The nervous system may be in a state of dorsal vagal freeze or sympathetic panic. The emotional experience here includes shame, fear, grief, and longing. Whenever we experience fear or doubt, it may be coming from a pre-existing exile that is deep within our wounded self. This layered framework allows us to track spiritual progress through the body. The goal is not to bypass difficult emotions or numb pain, but to restore the biological harmony that allows self-leadership and divine connection to naturally emerge. This brings us to some final thoughts. Biochemistry is the canvas, not the painter. The body provides the colors. The nervous system provides the rhythm. But the soul, the self, is the one who paints. Understanding the chemical and nervous system responses empowers us not only to heal trauma, but also to create the optimal vessel for soul expression. Remembering that our emotions are a form of direct communication from our soul. When we learn to live from the authentic self, our biology aligns, balance is found, and the body becomes a sacred instrument with a direct connection to the infinite of the divine. You've been listening to The Path to Authenticity, Love, and Spiritual Awakening. May these teachings awaken your truth and help you walk gently in love, courage, and clarity. Reflect. Revisit the words when needed. And remember, the light you seek is already inside you.